What if I told you the key to happiness isn't some distant dream, but right in front of you, hiding in the things that you do every single day? What if making a sandwich, washing a dish, or just seasoning your dinner could be the most joyful part of your life? Sounds crazy, doesn't it?
Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to the Joy Without Justification podcast. We are your one-stop spot for finding peace, purpose, and presence. No explanation is needed. I'm your host, Denny.
And I'm Dan. So we're talking about the way Denny chooses to be fully immersed in his tasks. He's mastered the art of turning the ordinary into extraordinary. And let's get started, Denny.
Mastered the art of turning the ordinary into the extraordinary. That's a rather interesting way to say you never know what's coming out of the kitchen when I'm in there.
Right. So let's just jump right in. So most people see cooking, or really any chore, as a means to an end. But you have turned it into an event. So why is this different for you?
Well, honestly, it's about presence. Cooking is one of the few times in my day where I get to slow down. I get to create something with intention. It's not just food. It, to me, is an experience. I think about, how the flavors, the textures, the colors, even if it's just a quick meal, like hamburgers and French fries. I played it on serving dishes like it's for a social occasion. I want the person who's going to be enjoying the meal to feel like I did this something special for them. And when I'm cleaning up afterwards, instead of grumbling, I just think it's just part of the ritual of being in the kitchen, Mm-hmm. I've served food that everybody enjoyed, and it turned into something meaningful.
That's a great perspective. So when you're making a simple dish, say scrambled eggs, what's going through your mind?
Well, I'm thinking about how I can make it special, how I can make it something unique. Like sometimes I might want to sprinkle some fresh herbs, like some dill from our garden or some parsley from our garden, and serve it with a little side of like maybe a little dish of fruit or
hash browns.
Yeah, because
we have to have potato.
In this house, potato is a fruit. But it doesn't have to be something fancy. It's all about taking the pride in the process. When you give even the smallest thing attention, you give something. The people receiving this will give you something back, and suddenly breakfast isn't just breakfast. It's a moment of joy.
So for our listeners, why does this matter? Why is it so important to give yourself these moments and to be immersed in the tasks that you're performing?
Well, because life moves fast. If you're not careful, you'll rush right past the things that do bring you joy. Allowing yourself to find a little bit of pleasure in something simple like cooking is a reminder that joy doesn't have to be earned or bought. It's available to you right now in the little things you're doing. Plus, these rituals ground you. They remind you to slow down, be present, and appreciate what you have.
So for everyone listening, let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly enjoyed a simple everyday task? Not because you had to, but because you wanted to. So what routine could you turn into your own joyful ritual? Think about this. What would happen if you approach life's most ordinary moments with the same intention and care? So here's a challenge. So find a ritual this week. Take one thing you normally rush through and transform it into a moment of mindfulness. It could be your morning coffee, folding laundry, cleaning up after dinner. Just ask yourself, how can I make this more meaningful? How can I find joy in this moment? And then do it. Let it become your ritual.
And let me just interject here a minute, Dan. Finding and making my morning coffee a ritual. To me, just getting my morning coffee is a ritual.
Well,
I mean, my day doesn't really even start until I have that first
just think about the coffee. So when you're making the coffee, for me, the one thing I like is when you open that coffee and you first get that whiff. The grounds.
Smell of the coffee from the canister.
Yeah, and then you're putting in your coffee. You're adding the water. So think about it. Just go very slow. So like. This is something I've learned in my practice of secular Zen is, you're going to think about the water. You're going to think about where it came from, and all the elements that added into it. So it's, our water comes from the river,
Hopefully not.
You want to think ick because we live by the Ohio River, but you want to, once the coffee's brewed, you want to sit, you just want to smell it, you want to taste it, you want to just be fully present and aware during the time you're drinking that coffee. For me, I try, because I hate sweeping, and we have a long-haired cat, so it's like a never-ending, continuous process to sweep. So for me, it's just like going kind of slow, just kind of, feeling the broom in my hands, listening to the sound it makes as it, goes across the floor, and, all those processes, just being fully present and aware. And I think you just need maybe just a couple minutes of this, right? It's not something you have to be all day about, but what it's doing when I'm doing that, my thoughts aren't flying off into, oh, I hate my job, and, this is happening, and it's cold, and the snow. Your mind's just kind of settled in that moment.
Well, that other thing you do when you're doing that, because I've noticed, and it's like any other, what people would consider menial tasks, because you do them every day. But you either turn up the radio, or you turn up our Echo Dot, because we have one of those, two of them actually in the house here, and you set it to some sort of music. So that normal menial task that anybody would just, I gotta sweep the floor.
Oh, yeah.
But you put music on and you start dancing
to
it while I don't even know how you're mopping the floor properly, because you're like dancing like you're on some sort of disco floor or whatever, but,
Yeah, just bringing yourself into that now.
And that's how, even with cooking, you can take that small menial task and turn the music on. Make that menial task seem like it happened like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you're not so worried that this is now a menial task. You're a little more grounded. You're focusing and enjoying yourself.
Right. That's so important in today's world where everything goes so fast. It's not like we really just work 9 to 5 and come home, right? Most people work 2 jobs, or you have kids and you got this and that to do. So just allowing yourself even those few moments of just shutting down and being present with whatever task you're doing. You got to do it anyway, right? And sometimes cleaning the house is really the only time that people get to themselves, right?
Or like when I'm in the kitchen cooking, I'm in there alone.
Right.
I have those moments to either de-stress and just be alone.
Right. So yeah, if you're busy and you're, I think all of us in this day and age just feels like life's a whirlwind, you know. And if you don't take the few moments for that self-care, and you're going, where can I squeeze it in at? Because I'm booked from 7 a.m. until midnight with work and my kids and whatever. So you adapt. You take the moments of your chores. You got to do them anyway, because let's face it, the kids ain't going to do them right. Husband ain't going to do them right.
So, even if they did,
you got to do it over.
I've known people that just, no matter, you could have the floor spick and spotless clean, but I've known people that would still come in,
redo it,
run that white glove over,
right,
redo it.
But the point I'm making is if you use the chores that you have to do, and you just allow yourself to be immersed in them, you're giving your mind a break. You're not focusing on the issues of the day,
Nope.
the stresses of the day, or the imagined problems of the future, because, let's face it, what you worry about seldom happens. But you're allowing yourself just to kind of be in the moment. And that is definitely something that you need for your mental health. It's just something you need.
And once you start looking at these moments, you will realize they're everywhere. And life doesn't have to be a grind. It can be a series of tiny celebrations. And we would love to hear about it. Email us at joywithoutjustification@gmail.com and tell us about your celebratory moments. And you can follow us on wherever you can get your podcasts from, whether it's Spotify, Spreaker, Apple, Amazon, Google.
All right, Denny, you've given us so much to think about today. You've shown us how small intentional rituals create big joy. So for everyone listening, don't let this just be another podcast you hear and forget. Take the challenge. Find your ritual. And please, we would love you to share it with us. And let's inspire each other to live more fully.
Exactly. And just remember, if there's one thing to take away from this, it's not about perfection. It's about presence. Find your joy in the little things.
All right. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Go out there, embrace your moments, and make life an event. Peace out.